Forget the ancient prophecies, the fire-breathing beasts soaring over forgotten peaks. Forget the epic clashes of steel and magic that fill our screens. Because what if the most titanic struggle, the most heart-stopping saga of survival, is happening right under your nose? Not in some distant realm, but in your own sun-drenched backyard, where shadows stretch long over a kingdom of dust and blades of grass become towering forests. Imagine for a moment an entire civilization, meticulously built, thriving on sheer grit and tireless labor. And then, imagine the arrival of their gods, their monsters, not mythical griffins, but cold-blooded titans with eyes like obsidian, flicking tongues like whips, and jaws that could swallow a legion. What would you do if your world, your entire existence, was threatened by giants whose mere shadow spelled doom? This isn't just a story about bugs. It's a raw, visceral tale of an underdog army, countless in number, but tiny in stature, facing down colossal predator. A story of ingenuity, sacrifice, and the sheer, unyielding will to survive, even when your enemies are literally 1,000 times your size. Prepare to witness the epic, untold saga of when ants truly fought dragons. Beneath the scorched earth of a suburban Arizona backyard, an empire pulsed with life. The Crimson Ember Colony, a sprawling metropolis of countless millions, was more than just a nest. It was a testament to unwavering will. At its heart, Queen Solara, a monarch of profound wisdom, guided their destiny, while her seasoned general, Commander Atlas, directed the ceaseless flow of their warriors and laborers. Their world, a labyrinth of meticulously sculpted tunnels, hummed with ordered chaos, every movement driven by the relentless pursuit of sustenance. Each grain of sand, each dewdrop, a vital resource under the unforgiving, relentless sun. The very ground beneath the colony's outer tunnels began to groan. A low, unsettling thrum vibrated through the packed earth, unlike any tremor the worker ants had ever known. Above, where the intricate network of chambers met the open air, an impossible shadow descended, blotting out the life-giving sun with chilling abruptness. Scout ants, usually paragons of courage, burst back into the main thoroughfares in a frenzy of agitated antennae and desperate pheromone trails. Their relayed visions were horrifying. Colossal, scaly titans, emerald and sun-baked, their eyes like chips of obsidian, unblinking in the oppressive heat. Then, the slick, motionless bulk of amphibians, lurking in the dew-kissed shadows, their sticky tongues a promise of swift, silent doom. These were not mere dangers. These were gods, monsters, sunbathing lizards, and lurking frogs, whose gargantuan forms presented an incomprehensible, existential threat to the meticulously built world of the ant civilization. The sun, once a comforting warmth on the dust, turned an ominous, sickly yellow as Grimjaw descended. Not a whisper of wind preceded him, only the sudden colossal shadow, then the ground-shaking thud. This was no fleeting glimpse of a distant predator. This was an incursion. The massive anole, scaled like ancient armor, its obsidian eyes gleaming with cold intent, targeted the main entrance. Before the alarm could fully ripple through the foraging lines, a blur of pink lightning erupted from Grimjaw's maw.gi. The tongue, a whip crack of terrifying speed, snatched up dozens, then scores, then hundreds of workers. In mere heartbeats, the bustling thoroughfare became a graveyard. Crushed earth and splintered tunnel segments marked its passage, a swath of devastation right to the colony's heart. The horrifying efficiency of the slaughter ripped away any illusion of safety. Their world, once meticulously ordered, was now exposed, vulnerable, terrifyingly real. The royal chamber hummed with a desperate urgency. Queen Solara, her antennae trembling, but her resolve unyielding, surveyed her council. Commander Atlas stood grimly. "Our legions," he declared, "are but a meal. Traditional defenses are futile." Around her, the elite strategists, their countless eyes reflecting the flickering phosphorescence, murmured. The sheer scale of the recent devastation had hammered home an inescapable truth. Direct confrontation was suicide. This wasn't a skirmish. It was an existential threat demanding a new kind of war. Solara raised a leg, silencing the room. Then we fight smarter, not harder. They delved into a revolutionary concept, born of desperation and deep observation. Every sun-baked rock, every blade of grass, every shadow, and crucially, every predictable habit of the colossal invaders became a potential weapon. Their collective intelligence, once used for harvesting, now bent towards understanding the Titans' fatal weaknesses, transforming their very environment into a battlefield of their own design. The velvet curtain of night fell, muffling the world. But beneath the silent expanse of the suburban lawn, a vast, unseen army stirred. Thousands of worker ants, propelled by desperate courage, swarmed forth from their hidden city. Each tiny mandible moved with unnerving precision, a grand symphony of tireless labor. They weren't building for tomorrow's harvest. They were engineering survival. Intricate pitfalls took shape, miniature canyons of loosened soil, treacherous quagmires of discarded sap, all designed not to trap forever, but to ensnare momentarily, to disorient. Strategically, alluring crumbs and iridescent insect wings, salvaged treasures, were laid. These weren't offerings, but insidious lures, carefully placed bait meant to draw the cold-blooded Titans into their self-made demise, turning the very hunger that drove the giants into their undoing. Drawn by the faint, deceptive scent of trapped grubs, Grimjaw lunged. Behind him, Mossback, a bloated green mass, followed, his massive tongue flicking with anticipation. They plunged not into easy prey, but into the cleverly concealed pits. A sudden, jarring collapse. This was the signal. From every shadow, beneath every leaf, a tide of crimson fury erupted. No longer scattered foragers. The colony moved as one. A living, biting carpet. Thousands of jaws snapped, scaling the giants. A relentless, tiny army targeting eyes, nostrils, the soft membranes behind limbs. Grimjaw thrashed, his scales scraping against the onslaught. While Mossback croaked in agony, a stinging venom pierced his thick hide. Each microscopic bite, each relentless tug, was a collective strike, proving that a million specks of defiance could bring even Titans to their knees. The backyard became an arena, a brutal, chaotic symphony, where survival was the only chord, struck by the unyielding will of the smallest warrior. The cost was astronomical, a ledger etched in silent sacrifice and fallen comrades. Yet, as the final shuddering retreat of Grimjaw and Mossback left only their lingering, repugnant scent upon the battle-scarred soil, a profound, weary triumph settled over the Crimson Ember colony. The dragons, their scaly hides now bearing numerous, acid-etched scars, had learned a brutal lesson. This territory, this ant hill, was no easy meal. They slunk away, their monstrous shadows dwindling towards easier, less fiercely defended prey. The colony, though thinned, was not broken. From the crucible of unimaginable conflict, a new, hardened spirit emerged. They were wiser, forever marked by the epic struggle. Their collective will forged into an unbreakable alloy. Their unwavering spirit, their relentless ingenuity, had proven what countless generations had only whispered in folklore, that even the smallest beings, united against colossal odds, could not only survive, but conquer. The legend of the Crimson Ember, the colony that fought dragons, was truly born.